Hey, this is Ebube Olivia Akueme, and I'm coming to you live from Kent in the UK. How are you today? I hope you're well and you're good and you're having a very fantastic Wednesday. Listen, my Wednesday started off with a boom. Very lovely, very nice. I've been on my feet since morning, but in a very, very good way. And I'm just happy to be here to do my life and share one or two things with yourself. So how are you? How is your Wednesday going? Today, I want to share something with you. It's probably one of those secrets of success or whatever they call it, but somebody recommended this magazine and you can get it if you're in the UK. It's called Inside Your Brain. Hi, Ian. How are you? I hope you're well and you're good. It's called Inside Your Brain. And it was a colleague who recommended this magazine. So I went into WH Smith today and I got myself a copy. And it's just, telling you how the brain works, how imagination and emotions and things like that work. And I think why I'm attracted to that, obviously we can't talk about success without understanding our own makeup. And our brain, of course, is the organ, the machine in the body that is kind of responsible for some of the decisions we make. So I'm just kind of like looking into science and looking at, decision making and stuff like that. But I hope you're well, you're fantastic wherever you are, and you are having a good day at least. Well, today I'm going to be talking about something that is common basically in relationships. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about how people sometimes suffer, but how you can overcome some of these sufferings that we see happening in relationships. So before I go on, let me just say a quick hello to the ones that I can see, people that I can see on here on my Facebook. Hi, Ian, again. Hi, Adewale. I hope you're good and you're well. Hi, Dayo. I hope you're good. And my Instagram, I can see BC. I hope you're good and you're well and the family is fine. So if you're just tuning in, I'm talking about how you can overcome suffering in your relationships. And when I'm talking about suffering, is usually caused by somebody else. Obviously, the somebody else is the other person in the relationship. And so today I'm going to be looking into the first one, which is blame, basically. So sometimes, I don't know if you find this, but sometimes in some relationships, you find that some people actually abdicate their responsibilities. And when they do that, they don't take ownership of their responsibilities. They kind of like, put it on somebody else. And that causes a lot of stress. It causes a lot of suffering in the relationship. So it's not always good to be like that. I mean, it's never good to be like that. It's never good to be that kind of a person who maybe you tend to blame other people, or maybe you're the person who is always receiving blame from somebody in a relationship. Now, if that happens over a long time, what does it do? It actually can cause, did you mean to overcome? Sorry, you see, not really understanding your question, but maybe if you can rephrase or something. But I'm talking about, blame in a relationship, whether you're the one receiving blame or somebody else is blaming you, basically, in a relationship. But what happens over time is, number one, it can cause what I call an emotional abuse in the long term. It can actually cause that. It can make the other person feel very small or very little. Imagine if every time and every day somebody's saying to you, you are the cause of, whether they say it to you expressly or they say it to you, whichever way they say it to you, but you're always getting that message that it's your fault for things not working out well in a relationship. For instance, if you're married and maybe one of the children or the kids are not behaving and you're always getting, it's because of the way, okay, thank you, UC. I'm going to look at the title again. Thank you for that. Imagine, and then you're always getting the blame for that particular child misbehaving or something, or maybe it has to do with the finances or whatever, and it's always maybe you getting the blame for that. I want to say something, that blame is not something you should just sit down and accept. It's something that you really need to look into if you feel that you are in that position where you're always blamed for everything, for almost everything in a relationship. It's never a good way, and it's not, where you want to be. in your relationship. So anyway, when it comes to blame, I want to say that if you are the one that is always blaming, now if it's you who is always putting out the blame out there and all of that, it's not a nice thing to do, because you make, like I said, it makes the other person feel very small. So what you want to do is, number one, you want to instead of you saying those things that would cause blame or sound like you're blaming the other person, why not choose to be quiet? If at all you're going to say something, don't say, don't blame the other person, basically always blaming them for what isn't working in that relationship. Don't be like that, So what you want to do is actually to be quiet, always take that side first of all, and try and look at things from their own perspective. So that's number one. The second thing that I want to share tonight is procrastination. Procrastination is a very, very big issue. In fact, it's one of the major sources of frustration in our relationships. What is procrastination? It simply means that somebody keeps on putting off what they're meant to do. So you're meant to fix something around the house, or you're meant to do whatever it is, but it's pretty much an abdication of responsibility, saying, I will do it sometime. And that sometimes never comes. Actually, that sometimes is always in the future. You're always like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and all of that. Again, procrastination can be a major source of frustration for the other person. So if you're in a relationship and you're the kind of person who, anytime you're meant to do something, you're always saying, okay, you know what, I'll get to it tomorrow, I'll get to it next week, and then next week comes, tomorrow comes, you actually don't do anything about it. You tell them again, don't worry, I'll get to it. Guess what happens over time? People learn how not to rely on you. Let me repeat that again. When you're the kind of person that is always telling people, I will do it, and you're giving this time frame and deadline, don't worry, I'll get it done, but you never do. After a while, people begin to learn that they shouldn't rely on you. They should not rely on you. And that's a big deal. That's a very, very big deal, especially if these are your very close loved ones and they're not relying on you over a period of time, simply because of your attitude of how you've always handled or not handled things around the house or things at work, wherever it is you may be. It's not good to be that kind of a person who is always procrastinating. You're always putting things off. You're always telling people, don't worry, I'm gonna do it, and then you never do it. Yes, it affects that ability to rely on you. That's number one. It's kind of like instigates or stirs up that frustration, and frustration can lead to anything at the end of the day, in the relationship. So if you're the kind of person who is always procrastinating, this is what I would say to you: step up. You need to step up. You need to step up. You need to be able to accept your responsibility, and you need to also be able to address the reason why you keep on putting things off. And you're not actually, doing what you're meant to be doing. You're not actually doing the things that you're meant to do, especially when these things are your responsibility in that relationship. So number one for me would be step up. But again, you can have a plan. Instead of you not, always putting things off and all of that, why don't you come up with some kind of plan and say, okay, instead of me putting this off, I can actually plan around this. So, you can, spread whatever it is that you're meant to do. Let's take, for instance, something that you're meant to do around the house and you're not doing it. You can spread it over a period of time, okay? And say, okay, I will get this done, over, the next 3 months or 6 months. I will tell you one thing, right? People like to see progress, and the smallest progress is very, very welcoming. As long as they can see that you're on that task or project or whatever it is and you're doing it, you're getting ahead and doing whatever it is that you're doing, then they are appreciative. But then when you don't do anything and you just kind of like leave it, it's almost like an abandoned kind of project, and you don't do anything about it, that is when they begin to have problems with you. But if they see that you are actually doing something about it, maybe week one comes, you do something and they say, okay, it's moved on from here, it's now there, you know, that's more acceptable. So if you're just joining me, today I'm talking about what can cause sort of like stress or strains or suffering, you know, in a relationship, and it can be from yourself. Now I've talked about number one, which is blame, where you're always in the habit of blaming other people, abdicating your responsibility, not wanting to take on that responsibility, always telling people, you know, it's your fault that things are this way. Number two is procrastination, not carrying out your responsibility and always, you know, putting it off. Those are the things I'm talking about. Number three has to do with, for me, this is the biggest one of them all, excuses. Okay. One lady I kind of listen to her, she's called Danny Johnson. She always says one thing. She says that excuses are well-planned lies. And if you come to think about it, people can come up with the most convincing reason why excuses are meant to be reasons, right? Why they're not doing something, you know. So they tell you, the reason why I'm not doing this in this relationship is because of. Now let me tell you one thing, right? Is your story. It's either you buy that story or you sell them the reason why they need to get off their ass and be doing, excuse my French, and be doing what they're meant to be doing. So never you buy people's excuses, especially when it comes to your relationships. Don't buy people's excuses. Excuses are well-planned lies. And excuses over a long period of time, just like procrastination or blame, imagine you lying to people, because, you know, when we sit down and we tell ourselves, okay, the reason why I'm not doing that is because of, the reason why I'm not doing that is because of, and then we always come up with this story, and they form this type of story behind the reason why they are not doing something over a period of time. That's deception, because you keep on deceiving people and telling them you know, this is the reason why, this is the reason why, this is the reason why. We need to shut down those lies and the reasons why. Excuses, when it comes to excuses, number one is that the real issues behind the reason why they're coming up with those excuses are actually not being addressed. So it means that, you know, it's time to sit down and actually address what is causing them to keep on giving these excuses. If it's you who is always coming up with excuses in your relationship, oh, this is the reason why I'm not doing that because Could it be that you're challenged with laziness? It could be laziness, or maybe you're just overwhelmed. Maybe what you have to do is kind of a lot. Whatever the reason might be, you have to not run away from the things that you're meant to be doing in your relationship. You're meant to actually face them, you know, head on, get them done, but don't come up with excuses. Excuses over a period of time destroys relationships. So blame, procrastination, and excuses, you know, it's a no-no for any relationship. But the problem is, those are the things that cause suffering in, you know, relationships, unfortunately. So when it comes to giving excuses and all of that, as I said, it's very important that you face it head on and you do what you're meant to do. And apart from creating you know, a plan and whatever, just start doing things small. You know, instead of you waiting until, okay, maybe I have all the time in the world to do the things that I'm meant to do and everything like that. Start small. But the whole point of today's Facebook Live and my Instagram Live as well, and hi, I have, you know, quite a number of people on Instagram. Hi Meran, hi Corinne, oh wow, such a long time. Hi Orisa Jimmy and Elizabeth. I hope you guys are all doing fine and you're good and well. I don't think I can see anybody else there. But the problem you see with blame and procrastination and you know and things like that is that it brings the other person suffering. It makes them you know, it makes the relationship more difficult. Let's put it that way. It makes things a little bit more difficult. And this is the reason why we can't just allow those things to be, because it doesn't help that relationship to grow, or it doesn't help, you know, people to enjoy their relationship in a way that they should. So if you're in a relationship that you're the one always blaming people, you need to watch it, because you make people feel small. You make people feel excuse me, that they are always the cause of whatever problem it is in that relationship. And over time, that's an emotional abuse. Over time, it begins to affect them negatively, even their self-esteem and all whatnot. So you need to watch it on that level. Now, if it is you that is always being blamed, it's time to draw that line in the sand and, like I said, begin to do something about it, begin to have those conversations about it as well. Now, when it comes to procrastination, again, is two-sided. It's either you always procrastinating, always putting things off, or you're in a relationship that you're seeing that your partner, your friend, whoever, whichever relationship you're in, they're kind of always putting off their responsibilities, things that they're meant to be doing, just as the fact that, they're in that relationship and they're not doing it, and you are allowing them to keep on procrastinating, and you're accepting the procrastination and all of that. Again, it's time to have those conversations where you tell them, look, listen, it's time to step up. Or if it comes to excuses and, they're always doling out excuses. Why is that not done, for this reason or for that reason? Again, it's time to have those conversations. But excuses, procrastination, blame, and all of that will never help any relationship move forward. And this is the reason why it's very important, that whether you're the one doing them or they're being done to you, excuse me, you need to take a break and address these issues, because it's not going to, you not addressing it will not help that relationship in any shape or form, if you get what I'm saying. So I hope that today's Facebook Live has been, I don't know, it's been, you found one value or maybe two, I don't know, three in it. But I hope that, you can go away and say, okay, let me look into my relationships, especially my very close relationship, the ones that really matter to me, and see if, I can see any blame, any procrastination, or any excuses that are in there, and begin to address these things. So until next time, my friends, stay well, be well, and I wish you, fulfilling relationships. Take care. Bye. This one in my video.